They're going to go from I-backs to pistol. So on 4th and less than a yard, Leavitt's in the gun. Scadaboo's the tailback. Twins to the right. Tight end left. Motion to the left. Play action. Leavitt runs to the right. Drop down! Shy the line to gain!
Short of the line of the game. Ball goes over.
That is a blown play, Greg. They blew that play. Sam Leavitt turns to the right, and you've got the entire play going to the left. He doesn't see his ball carrier, so he just has to take off running. And who do you got right there? Isaiah Glasgow, the most short tackler you've got on the team. He's the TFL king. He's been the leader of this defense, and he's right there to bring Sam Leavitt down short of the first.
Arizona State turns the ball over on downs. 4th and 1. On downs. BYU, it's all in front of the Cougars now. 2 minutes and 34 seconds to score a touchdown that may win the game and get the Cougars to Arlington if enough things break right next week. As for today, it's all the Cougars could have wanted. A chance to win it after going down 21-0 late in the first half. Shotgun, backs are split. Jake claps the hands. He rides it to Martin, keeps it himself, and Retzlaff has an 11-yard gain on 1st down and 10 out to the 21-yard line.
Love that play. Give it to Retzlaff. Give him the keeper. Let him get the 10, 11 yards. You fake the option, and he just keeps it right down the field.
BYU hurrying it up, and tempo's been the Cougars' friend in this comeback attempt. 2:25 to go. Clean pocket for Jake. He throws on the out far side. 1st down. It's Lassiter between the 35 and 40. Give him the 37. Give him 16 yards. Move the sticks for BYU. 2:19 to play. 28-23 Sun Devils. They've been the comeback Cougs all year. Can they do it again in the most meaningful of moments?
They've got the 2-minute timeout, and they've got their 2 timeouts left on the scoreboard.
So 3 stoppages available. We may get to the 2-minute timeout right now. They will not stop a play. 2 minutes to play here in Tempe. We're taking a break. 28-23. Sun Devils lead it. The Cougs are 63 yards from the end zone, and only the end zone will do. Come back with us, won't you? 2 minutes to play. Sun Devils by 5. Cougs on the drive on the new skin, BYU Sports Network.
You're listening to BYU football on the new skin, BYU Sports Network.
Welcome back to Mountain America Stadium here in Tempe, Arizona. BYU trailing Arizona State 28-23 with exactly 2 minutes to go in the 4th quarter. BYU late in the 2nd quarter was down 21-0. What a comeback by the Cougs.
So
they've been here before numerous times.
So what's different, Greg? Well, let me tell you what's different. The trench has reversed powers. BYU's trenches showed up. They're setting the pocket. Jake Retzlaff is throwing from a clean pocket. Also, they're in a bit of a hurry-up, so Retzlaff is not overthinking things. He's just running off instincts. And the receivers are setting into zone. Arizona State is dropping off. They're sloughing off these routes. They're not trying to press because they don't want to give any quick breaking routes, so that they're giving a little bit of space. And these receivers are finding those nice little pockets. So with the pocket that's being provided by the offensive line, Arizona State's defense that they're running, Jake Retzlaff's accuracy, that's what you've got right now is a really tight game.
We come back to 1st down and 10 for BYU at the Cougar 37-yard line. Retzlaff in the gun. The drop back. The throw. Ooh! The receiver, Lassiter, fell down. It goes incomplete over his head, and as he fell down, that left the defensive back with a good look at that football. Thankfully for BYU, it sailed high, and it was not picked off, but it was potentially a game-ending turnover.
Well, I was just talking about that pocket that's been set. That's the first pressure Arizona State has gotten in some time. So Jake released that a little quicker than he wanted, a little higher, but like Greg said, Lassiter fell down.
2nd down and 10 from the BYU 37, 1:55. Arizona State up 28-23, complete to Roberts' left side, but it sets up a 3rd down and short. That's a gain of 7 to chase Tackled at the 44. The clock is rolling at 1:44. BYU can stop it 2 more times. They choose not to use a timeout there. Now it comes down to a 3rd down and 3. BYU today, what a day to be good on 3rd down. 6 for 9 today.
Change your count.
Retzlaff, sprint to the right. Throws, open, Roberts makes the catch to the 48-yard line of Arizona State. Another 3rd down conversion. BYU now 4 for 4 on 3rd and 3. They've been experts on 3rd down, and the down distances are getting shorter, which helps BYU. Roberts another grab. 6 for Chase.
It's like Jake Retzlaff at half felt everybody doubting him as a quarterback. He is throwing some really good heat right now. He rolled out, gave himself some extra time, and found that route.
1st and 10 at the Arizona State 49. 1:24 to go. BYU down 5. Only a touchdown will do. Retzlaff, gun. He's got Martin and Tasse in the backfield. Jake settles, pressure, deflected ball, batted ball, incomplete, and there's a flag downfield. Is it Roberts being held?
I believe so.
Hold or PI? It's going to be a hold and another 1st down for BYU with 1:20 to go.
Grabbed Chase Roberts and actually pulled him to the ground.
Prior to the pass, holding, number 7, defense. 10-yard penalty, automatic 1st down.
Arizona State's had its 4th quarter struggles. They're minus in the scoring margin in the 4th. And what a fade this would be for the home team, but what a comeback it would be for the Cougs. They've been doing it time and time again all year. Can they find one more in them? 1:20 to go, 2 timeouts, the ball to the Arizona State 39-yard line. 28-23 Sun Devils. Retzlaff in shotgun. Moves L.J. Martin ahead of him. He and Tasse act as wingbacks. Good protection. Down the sideline for JoJo, just beyond him. JoJo was just pushed off his route on the near boundary. Could not get there. He was beyond the defender. The ball a bit beyond him. It goes to 2nd and 10 from the Arizona State 39.
That route was open, and JoJo was open, and it was a nice blitz pickup. This offense is doing a good job giving Jake time, and that ball was just slightly overthrown. I'd like to have seen JoJo maybe try to lay out as much as he could for it because he was open.
Retzlaff in shotgun. LJ now right off his right hip. Twins left and twins right. The short side's the right side. Jake on the slant. Intercepted. And it may come back the other way. The 40, the 30. Retzlaff is going to force the defender down inside the 10. Javan Robinson with the INT. That will certainly seal the deal here in Tempe.
Well, it's an overthrow. You're going to run a slant from the outside, and it's just an overthrow on the slant. Defender sitting over the top in a zone look. And when you overthrow the slant, put it a little bit too high, it's going to end up in one of those zone defenders' hands if they're covering over the top of those slants. So that's just a errant throw by Retzlaff. Got off his finger just a touch. That could have been a completion, though. That route was there if he just leaves it a little bit lower.
That's a heartbreaker.
Retzlaff again showing heart, running back down the field and making that tackle. He did save the touchdown. Let's see if BYU can do anything with it with a minute left.
BYU can stop it twice, but it's not going to matter at this point. Arizona State will snap it 1st and goal from the 7. Leavitt in shotgun. Scadaboo behind him. Pistol give to Scadaboo. Scadaboo with a stiff arm to the boundary and kept in bounds. BYU will have to stop the clock with 56 seconds remaining. Cougars have 1 timeout remaining. It'll be 2nd and goal from the 4-yard line.
BYU has called their second charge timeout at 58 seconds of the 4th quarter.
Well, heading into the Kansas game, everything was in front of BYU with 1 game of wiggle room. That game was last week. This week, BYU needed to win. And we're on their way. But an interception in the closing minute and change may spell the Cougars' demise in this one. Now, it needs to be said that BYU with a win next week could win a tiebreaker that puts the Cougars in Arlington. There are enough unique scenarios that could actually go BYU's way, but they're not the likely ones at this point.
Kansas
and BYU will be requiring a lot of luck to win tiebreakers next week. It was a 64-yard interception return that all but seals the deal in this one. Cougs can stop it one more time, 58 seconds to play.
Did you say Kansas is doing to Colorado what they did to BYU last week?
Yeah, Kansas is a good team. They every game they've lost close. They're not that far away from being where they want to be, and they win one more game, and they'll be playing in the postseason. Pistol. Scattaboo behind Leavitt on a 2nd and goal from the 4. Leavitt's going to waste some time running to his left. Does a U-turn and gets dropped well back at the 29-yard line. Timeout for BYU. It'll go to 3rd down and goal from the 29.
He just went straight backwards.
Yeah.
BYU has called their 3rd and final charge timeout of the game at 52 seconds in the 4th quarter.
So the game won't exactly run out on BYU on this play.
It's weird that they ran that far back.
But unless the Sun Devils can take 12 seconds with this 3rd down play,
right,
they'll have to maybe kick a field goal or just play it safe and give it back to BYU with almost no time left in the game, leading by 5, knowing that BYU would need a major miracle to then score. So 52 seconds remain on the clock, and the Sun Devils face a 3rd and, pardon me, it's 3rd. The scoreboard shows 4th, but it's 3rd down.
Yeah, it's 3rd down.
It's 3rd down and goal from the 29. The scoreboard is in error.
I didn't even hear you say 4th.
I said 3rd, but I looked at the board and they showed a 4th down, but it's 3rd down.
Yeah.
3rd and goal from the 29. And
there's going to potentially be some time on the clock.
Little bit. Leavitt in shotgun goes down intentionally at the 48-second mark, and now the clock will run down to about 5 seconds. Arizona State will call a timeout and or take a delay of game and then look to punt and pin and give BYU one snap, if that even, because the punt may end up taking the time.
To your thing about the field goals, they just basically
took themselves out of
40 yards of field position to give themselves a chance to punt it instead of a field goal.
That would give you an 8-point lead.
That is one of the more bizarre tactics I've ever seen.
The game clock's at 17, the play clock's at 7. So there will be a slight discrepancy. And again, Arizona State can call timeout, which is the more likely. Take a delay of game, the less likely. And there'll be at least one more snap of this football game. Delay of game is the call.
Yeah, they feel like they're going to...
4 seconds to go.
Extend it a little bit.
All they need to do really is on the 4th down, just have the punter run around and take a knee.
Yeah.
Delay of game. Offense. That delay of game occurred at 7 seconds. Please reset the game clock to 7. 5-yard penalty. It's 4th down.
Well, they better take 7 seconds. They better take 7 seconds with this 4th down.
7's a lot. You're going to have to put it off the foot in 7. Well, boy.
Again, you can choose to punt it and hope the game clock runs out, or you can have the punter run around and hope to spend the time before sliding, but the play will likely be punt. And BYU would need either an immediate downing of the football before the clock hits zeros, or fashion a punt return with a million laterals, perhaps.
They're just
have a shot to score.
They're going to snap it and run around.
They're going to run so the quarterback's actually going to take the snap and maybe do what he just did a moment ago with 7 seconds to go. And now
delay of game. Offense, 5-yard penalty. Still 4th down.
Yeah, they're going to snap it and try to run out the 7 seconds. But that could give BYU...
Well, literally Leavitt, once he takes the snap, could start running toward his goal line and then slide with zeros on the clock.
And that's probably what he's going to do.
So 4th down and goal from the 49 of BYU. A 49-yard 4th down line to gain. Leavitt, back pedal. Leavitt just throws it up, and the clock's at 3, 2, 1. It falls incomplete. Now the clock shows zeros, but they may put a second back. Hold on a second. Leavitt. Now, this is unfortunate. The fans are rushing the field. They've lowered the goalposts.
It's under further review.
You got to get these fans off the field.
Previous play is under further review.
They're reviewing. Leavitt threw the ball up, and when the ball hit the ground, if there was a second left, when the ball hit the ground, BYU will get one play from midfield
fans
for Hail Mary. And the fans have rushed the field. The goalposts have been lowered.
But that ball.
And this might also result in an unsportsmanlike conduct foul that could give BYU 15 yards.
Yes.
And basically have a 35-yard throw.
It's still under review.
Now, all the fans have rushed the field.
And BYU.
And I'm telling you right now, if they look at this and there's a second on the clock, they're going to clear the field, give Arizona State a penalty, and give BYU one down with 1 second to play from roughly the 35-yard line to try and score.
Well,
so Leavitt took the shotgun snap with 7 seconds. He backpedaled, ran to his right, threw a ball high and downfield to the right. When it hit the field, was there 1 second left?
I think there might be, Greg.
If there was, they'll have to clear the field. Certainly, Arizona State would be penalized.
I think there might be 1 second.
What an absolute zoo we have here on the field at Mountain America Stadium. Almost the entire student section's found its way to the field while the game is still under review, the end of it, that is.
And the goalposts have come down. BYU.
They lowered the goalposts, which are on a hinge, immediately to prevent them from being taken down.
BYU's team is still on the sideline, and you've got coaches that are to the middle, and they're still trying to figure out exactly what's happened. But look, they still have not stopped.
Meantime, I'm just watching Michael Vanderbilt down here. The referee is under the hood, and they're looking to see if there's a second left. And if there's a second left, everybody will be cleared, and this game will not be over.
Well,
I'm watching the referee, headset on, under the hood, looking to see if any time remains.
There's going to be a second left.
If there is, BYU gets a shot.
I think there's a second
likely
left.
From the 35, presuming a penalty, and that's not guaranteed, but if there's a penalty for the field rush.
I think that ball hit the fans out in the stands just before that 1 second clicked off. Now, the refs might not want to deal with all this mess.
All right, so still waiting for the final judgment on this. And from where we sit in our booth, we don't have great views of replay angles, so I haven't been able to see. But in the meantime, the stream of fans continues onto the field here at Mountain America Stadium in Tempe.
And like Greg said, we don't have a real replay opportunity that's real clear. But I think that ball hit in the stands.
Is that how far it went out?
Yes, just before the second clicked off. It did. It went.
Okay, the headset is off. Or coming off, the referee Michael Vanderbilt. He's not yet taken it off his head, but he was motioning to do it. No, they're still talking.
Dillingham is right in the middle of the whole scrum by the refs, and he's yelling and throwing his hands around at the refs down there. He's actually in their face. Dillingham is throwing a fit down by the replay booth.
He's red-faced and very upset.
He's throwing his hands at his throat. He's saying that it's over. The officials are pushing him back.
And Michael Vanderbilt remains with the headset on at the monitor.
Well, if there's a second, there's a second.
Game clock operator, please reset the game clock to 1 second, please. 1 second.
All right, so a second on the clock.
1 second.
And this entire time.
Fans, please return to the stands. Fans, please return to the stands.
Greg, this is a mess.
It's the entire time, the stream of fans just continues unabated onto the field here.
Well, you've almost got the entire 100 yards of field now covered in yellow fans, just packed almost end zone to end zone.
And whether or not there's a penalty on this play, Arizona State's certainly going to be fined.
Oh, there's got to be a penalty.
Because people came on the field, the game wasn't even over yet, let alone a regular field storming after the game. This game was not yet decided when all the fans came on the field. And we are talking thousands and thousands of people that are now all being forced to retreat and get back into their seats if they can. But the delay this will take to end this game.
I felt like there was a second left. And here's the crazy thing. If that doesn't go into the stands and it goes to the field, because the stands are up higher, it actually hit the stands sooner than it would have hit the field. And I'm telling you, Greg, that's where the second came from. Believe it or not, it was just the angle of the stands. If he launches that to the back of the end zone, that extra second clicks off, and these fans aren't having to leave the field right now.
I can only see about 15% of green grass that's not covered in people at this moment, and they're going to have to clear everybody from this field, and not nearly everyone's going to get back into their seats. What an
I'm sorry, there's
unusual and unseemly way to end this football game, which is still a game with 1 second on the clock.
There's got to be a 15-yarder, not only for the fans, but the way Dillingham was handling the officials as the officials were coming off the review. Dillingham was in their face throwing double throat slashes and telling them this game is over.
It was the gesture wasn't. It wasn't. The gesture was
game over.
Game is over.
Yes.
Not that he was threatening the officials.
No, but
it was that the game was over.
Yeah, exactly. He's slashing at the throat like game's over, game's over. And, he's in the official's face. There's enough here that the officials really do need to do something. Now they're trying to get the uprights back up. And it's not like it's a mechanical thing. These are people trying to push the uprights back into the upright position, Greg. I've never seen anything like that. What is the last 2 weeks of BYU football? And the things that we've seen are just unbelievable.
All right, Kalani Sitake.
After review, there's 1 second left on the game clock. BYU will take over 1st and 10 at the 49-yard line.
Kalani Sitake is surrounded by 3 police officers and 3 officials, football officials, at the 38-yard line. And now referee Michael Vandervelde will come to converse with officials in the vicinity of Kalani.
And you've got all the students that are still down. Now they're taking off their shirts and they're making snow angels down on the grass. You can't get them out of the end zone. They can't even get them back into the stands because the way they came.
There's no room.
They came out of the stands over the top of the rails. There's not like an easy entry back into the stands.
What you have is about 90 yards of clear field and 10 yards plus an entire end zone full of Arizona State fans to our right to the south end of the stadium.
So trying to just get the field cleared might take you some time. This is...
and I think what's going to happen, if we look forward a little bit, either our post-game coverage or the basketball pregame coverage will either begin or end on the BYU radio app only, because the delay of the end of this game is going to make it hard to get into our regular basketball pregame coverage at the appropriate time at 6 p.m. So later we will determine how that happens for our listenership. As for the time being, there's 1 second to play and 1 play to be snapped for BYU with 1 chance at victory. Pretty simple now. It's a Hail Mary from midfield for the win.
Well, this is all funneled, and this is all just a funneled personnel now, and you got junk on the field, and you're still trying to get these students out of here. BYU's trying to stay warm down on the sidelines. I mean, Greg, what are we now from when that ball hit out of bounds to right now? What are
10 minutes?
10, 12 minutes? We're going to get close to in another halftime before they get these fans to the point where they can play this final second.
They may or may not be able to clear the field, meaning the entire end zone at the other end of the field. They may just make do with what they've got.
Well, and these fans are acting like if they just stay on the field, the officials are going to be like, forget it.
Well, now the action's going to be happening away from those fans, and there would not be any overtime. It's 1 play. Either BYU wins or loses on this next snap. So from a practical standpoint, they don't need to clear that south end of the stadium. They really don't. There's only 1 play to play. It's going to happen at the opposite end of the stadium that is clear.
But I don't want the student body on the field in their ear. Think about how loud they would be in the offense's ear if they let them stand in that end zone. If they don't get them back into the stands and this end zone starts going bonkers, you're going to feel a wave of noise hitting you in the back of the head as you're trying to execute that final play. I just think for the fairness of the game, you've got to get these guys vacated.
Well, that may take another 10 minutes.
But I don't want them at my back as an offensive player. And if I'm Kalani, I'm fighting with these officials.
And we're not going to snap a play until the field is clear.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not, because I don't want the noise this close to me. As a player, if I felt these fans, this would be like an arena league game, having the fans right on your back. I got to get these guys out of my end zone so I don't have to hear them. And if I'm Kalani, I'm making sure everything is going my way, because I feel like I was taken advantage of in this moment, allowing the goalposts to come down and the fans to come out on the field. I feel like I'm the one that's wrong. I want the 15-yard penalty. I want everybody off my field, and I want a clean look for my final play, and I'm not moving until I get it.
Cam Scadaboo is in the end zone to our right, waving people off the field as they try and get the field cleared for a final play of the game.
Have you ever seen...
They may not all end up in the seats or back in the stands, but they may have to indeed clear not just the playing field, but the entire opposite end zone. So our vantage point is at the 25-yard line, north end of the stadium. And our entire playing surface from our side of the stadium down to the opposing goal line is clear. The only place that is still covered in terms of ground covered is the end zone to our right. It is now almost clear. What they're trying to do is ring fans around the end zone so that at least all 100 yards of playing surface and both 20-yard end zones are open for the final snap of the game.
And here's the funny thing. There's going to be 5,000 to 6,000 people that probably don't see the final play of the game because they've shoved them deep back into the tunnels and they're shoving them underneath the stands to try to get it to a point where they've got the whole field cleared. But again, I don't want these people on the sidelines for my final play. I don't have to have them on my sidelines for the final play if I'm Kalani Sitake. And if I get one more play, I want to make sure it goes the way I want it. Still, these officials have to figure out what to do with Dillingham, with the fans, with the posts coming down.
Right now, the ball's not been moved from the BYU 49-yard line. So it's a 51-yard field for BYU with one play. And they're still having to get the last remnants of fans off the last legal field of play, part of the end zone to our right. They're almost there. Once they get there, there can be a snap in the end of this football game. Well, there have been no penalties announced, and it's looking at a 1st and 10 from the BYU 49, one play. The question now becomes, what play do you run? Do you throw it to the end zone? Do you throw something short and have plays with laterals? Certainly it's a situation they've worked on. They get one chance to run it with the score 28-23. Let's recap the fact that Arizona State leads at 28-23. BYU was driving for a would-be go-ahead touchdown in the fourth quarter when Jake Retzlaff threw his second pick of the day. And it ended for the time being BYU's victory hopes. It came on a 2nd and 10 from the ASU 39 with 1:15 to play. And now with 1 second to play, the score remaining 28-23 Sun Devils, BYU will have one snap from its own 49-yard line. Kalani Sitake is at midfield in conversation with an official there. Referee Michael Vandervelde has made no announcements but is now talking with Arizona State personnel and head coach Kenny Dillingham. We may get something. Michael Vandervelde is moving toward the line of scrimmage, and we're going to hopefully get some kind of announcement.
You're just outside the distance of route concepts, like you saw against Oklahoma State with Darius Lassiter catching that play. I think it was 31 yards, 32 yards, 30-some-odd yards. You're right in the route concepts. You're just outside of that at your own 49. So it would be a Hail Mary-like play.
All right. There will evidently be no penalties, unsportsmanlike or otherwise.
See, this is what I'm talking about.
This will be one snap for the football game.
Now you got people that have lined the sidelines, and they're getting crazy.
So from the BYU 49-yard line, it'll be 1st down and 10, one play with 1 second on the clock. Arizona State's placing 3 defensive backs between the Sun Devil 5-yard line and goal line, and now 2 are in the end zone, 1 just outside the end zone. So 3 back there, 5 across the middle at the 30, and a 3-man front defensively for Jake Retzlaff and the Cougars. Here we go to end this football game. Jake has pressure from his right, sprints out to his right, loads up in the air. The ball will be caught at the 2-yard line, shy of the end zone, and the game is over. And now the fans rush the field. Who caught that football?
Chase.
It was Chase at the 2-yard line.
Yeah,
so
Chase.
the fans will rush the field. BYU players will try and get off safely. And Arizona State wins it by a score of 28-23. Post-game coverage begins after this on the new skin, BYU Sports Network.